We're about to watch a hearing of a true cockroach, of a man who abuses his stepdaughter. Just brace yourself. With that, let's jump in.
Good morning. The parole board is reconvened at 10:15 a.m. Sir, give us your name and DOC number.
Michael Chad Lowe, 477-506.
All right, Mr. Lowe, my name is Pearl Wise, and to my left is Mr. Roche, to my right is Mr. Freeman. We comprise your panel this morning. Let me explain the process to you. I'm going to read some information into the record. Afterwards, we're going to conduct an interview with you, starting with Mr. Roche. After we complete our interview, we're going to ask the institution to give us some comments on how you've been doing or whatever they want us to know. You do have a visitor today, Haley Wise, your stepdaughter, and she will be speaking. And after she speaks, then we'll give you an opportunity to make a statement. Just tell us whatever you want us to know, and then we'll render our speech. Do you understand the process?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me read the information in the record. Michael Chad Lowe, DOC number 477506. You are listed as a first offender. The offense is forcible rape. The sentence date was March 29th, 2004. Your total DOC sentence is 25 years. Your parole eligibility date is April the 19th of 2023. You do not earn the time, and your full term date is January the 19th of 2027. Does that sound about right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you answer, Mr. Roger?
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Lowe, we also have another stepdaughter, Shelley, who's there.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. I didn't notice that.
Good morning, Mr. Lowe. How are you?
Fine, sir.
Mr. Lowe, you're currently 56 years old, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And you served a 25-year sentence, and you've been incarcerated about 21 years, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're first felony offender. And tell us why you're in prison right now.
I'm in prison because 21 years ago I did a horrible thing, and I sexually abused my stepdaughter and was making her perform oral sex on me.
And how old was your stepdaughter?
She was between 8 and 10 years old.
7 and 10 years old.
Excuse me, sir?
I was 7 years old.
7 years old, yes, sir.
So tell me what you've done about your daughter.
I've taken the Louisiana risk assessment or risk management treatment program, phases 1, 2, and 3. And I've tried to rehabilitate myself through that program and change my priorities. That sex is not.
Tell me why you didn't take phase 4 of the medicine program.
I don't know why, sir. I just didn't. I didn't approach that.
You do know there's a phase 4.
Yes, sir. I believe it was because they were for tutors, and I didn't want to pursue that.
Well, I want you to pursue it.
Yes, sir.
The best way to obtain information is to give it back to another individual.
Yes, sir.
and tutoring to facilitate the program. Okay,
Yes, sir.
now, what is the present job assignment at Raymond LeBour?
I'm currently on what's called Work Crew 9. And periodically they like cut vegetables. But I'm going through some medical problems. I don't have an active job per se.
Your job status. You have a job status, right?
Yes, sir. Work crew.
Light duty.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what your transition plan, if and when you're released.
I've been accepted to a house in Marrero by the Sex Offender Housing Initiative. And I plan on going to work at the VA hospital. I have a background in personnel. And I've been helping veterans fill out their VA disability forms. And that's what I plan on pursuing is helping veterans get their VA disability benefit.
Let me inform you that we have communication from the victim and the victim's mother. And they have given us permission to share this information. And the victim is adamantly opposed to your early release. Your former wife is adamantly opposed to your release. And this hearing will give a presentation a little later on in this hearing. You also have adamant opposition from the judge, the DA's office, the sheriff's office, and the chief of police of Bossier City, Louisiana, who all are adamantly opposed to your early release. So tell me why you think this panel should vote to release you early when you have so much opposition.
That's a good question. I was just sincerely remorseful for what I've done, and I can't change the past. And I've tried to change my attitude and my priorities and move in a different direction than where I was headed back then.
Next question. Mr. Lowe, this position of this case, did you plead to forcible rape or were you found guilty by a jury?
I took a plea agreement.
And what was the original charge?
The original charge was aggravated rape, sir.
And you took a plea to stop from getting a life sentence, is that correct?
Well, actually, I was facing a capital offense.
A life sentence. If you were found guilty by a jury, the judge would have sentenced you to life, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So why are you asking for early release when you agreed to serve 25 years?
I feel that I've changed my life, sir. I don't want to cheat society or the family out of what they deserve, and they do deserve that. And I'm sorry for what I've done. I am remorseful, and all I can do is try my best and to do better in the future. I know I've let a lot of people down. and you really have no,
Mr. Lowe, I don't dispute that you changed the life, you changed marriage, but you also changed Harry's life 20 to 23 years ago. And she is still mentally, physically affected by your time. Board Meyer, any comments, please?
Mr. Roche, we did discuss, although, he doesn't blame alcohol for the incident, behavior in the past, he does admit that he did have a problem with alcohol, so I believe that he needs substance abuse programming, for release. He's also enrolled in our victim impact program, and of course, naturally, I do think that's very, very important that he complete. I believe he has about 4 weeks left of that. His conduct history, as far as being, incarcerated with us, he has not given any problems. He's been a good offender as far as his conduct, disciplinary history goes. And, I will say the one thing, horrible crimes, as always, he does accept responsibility for what he did. And we all know, unlike many sex offenders, they don't want to pass ownership or not take it. He does take it. So I do think he understands that, but those are my recommendations.
Thank you, Warden. And I did mention that you have an excellent disciplinary record. You only have one disciplinary write-up the entire incarceration, and that was in 2015. An excellent record. This is why I think of you. Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Lowe, I'm looking, it says you're ex-Air Force.
yes, sir. I
You
retired,
retired from Air Force?
retired medically, sir, after 10 years.
Okay, did you receive a check from them?
I received a retirement check, but when I applied for the VA disability, I had to give one up. So I gave up the retirement check and now receive a VA disability check,
Okay, thank you.
sir.
Mr. Lowe, there was indicated in the record that this is not your first time molesting young girls, and that your daughter was always also your victim, Amanda. Speak to that, folks.
After I was charged, ma'am, she addressed that issue to me, but I do not remember anything involved with that. I'm not calling her a liar, but I don't remember any incident involving that issue, ma'am.
So could we say you were drinking during that time period of your life?
I did have an alcohol DWI incident when I was in the military, but I cannot blame alcoholism on my actions concerning this.
I was just trying to figure out how you don't recall, recall it, what Amanda was telling you about. That's all I was wondering, was it because you were using the alcohol at that time excessively? You can't say that you were doing that during that time. You just don't recall. You just don't remember.
I don't recall that issue, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So your statement to this panel today is that this incident that you're in jail for now is the only incident.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Well, at this time, we can hear from Ms. Haley Wise. Will you unmute your mic and tell us what you want us to know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you guys were just going to read my statement.
We did read it.
Oh.
And Haley,
Yes, sir.
you don't have to speak if you don't want to. I've read this statement. I understand it. exactly what you say, and your testimony is in the record. We have read your letter. If you don't want to speak, you don't have to.
Okay. I mean, again, even if he is remorseful, I don't think that really makes a difference. We all do things, we're all remorseful, but it doesn't take away from the damage that it has caused me. He was shown great leniency. The reason why he was able to take that plea was because the laws were changing and they wanted to go to court as soon as possible. He really, truthfully, should not have been able to just have those years. I shouldn't have to be, doing this right now. I shouldn't have to be worrying about that. I don't believe that it's fair for him to even get out in 2017 and go back to having a semi-normal life when my life has been tainted and every aspect, and it will be for the rest of my life. So I really don't think that's fair. It seems that he seems like he's remorseful, but I don't see any type of, I don't see anything showing from his behavior that he's really actually remorseful. So that's all I'd like to say.
Yes, Dave.
It's like we lost the board there. I'm gonna have both their faces blurred, but I think it was her sister that's on the side saying no, he's not remorseful. Isn't that crazy? They're changing the laws.
Hey, this is Warden Meyer. It looks like the parole board's kind of lost connection. So if y'all just hang tight, okay? They'll be back.
They were, thank you, Warden. They were changing the law, so they rushed it through. And by the way, he is, I like that Miss Wise asked him, there was another incident. You want to tell us about that? Oh, I don't remember. He appealed his sentence right away. Also, by the way, Mr. Jackson asked him, so why do you think you should get out earlier? His full-time date is 2027, which means he's getting out. Unfortunately, he is getting out soon because, and we all know the cockroaches. We know it's not his first time. We know it's not his second time. We know that he's been a cockroach his entire life. He appealed, and we'll go over the appeal. He felt his sentence was too excessive. Yeah, he took a plea deal and then appealed it because he thought it was too excessive. We're looking at someone that should never see the light of day again. The most evil predators that exist. Thank goodness that I just, the survivors had the courage. I shouldn't say courage.
All right, can you all hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. Committee is reconvened at 10:33 a.m. as to Michael Lowe, 477-506. Ms. Wise, can you hear? Haley, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, very good. Is there anything else you want to tell us before we allow Mr. Lowe to make his closing statement?
No, ma'am.
I just wanted to make sure. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lowe, what do you want us to know before we vote?
That, again, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't really cut it. And I want to apologize to, again, everyone that I've affected. Going through the victim impact program, I've learned that it's not only just the victim, it's the victim's family, my family, the police, the board. I put the ward and everybody through all of this just because of my actions. And to hear the victim talk and now to realize what my future is and how the judge feels and the DA, it really puts me into perspective of really the impact of what I've done. And I really wouldn't blame the board if they denied me today, because they're fully justified in that. So I want to thank you for this time today, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Roach.
First of all, Ms. Haley White, you're a very courageous young lady. And you must know that none of this is your fault. Take no blame at all. So please do your best, follow medical advice, and try to live a very good, normal, and productive life. You did nothing wrong. Mr. Lowe, based upon adamant opposition from the victim, adamant opposition from the victim's family, in light of rehabilitative program, one mind said that you needed some substance abuse, and you need to finish the 4th grade of sex offender treatment. Also, the entire community has voiced their opposition. The judge, the DA's office, law enforcement, their request has been denied.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Freeman?
I also would like to thank you, Haley, for appearing today. It does really help in our decisions. When we talk to the victim. I also am going to deny because of the victim opposition, and also you need to finish phase 4 of the sex offender treatment. I will never grant you until you complete phase 4 of the sex offender treatment.
Mr. Lowe, at this time, you have, first of all, I do want to appreciate the 2 brave young ladies that showed up today. I really appreciate you're better off than you think you are. You're stronger than you think you are, than you realize who you are. To show up today and just present and participate, you really matter today. I just want to appreciate you and bravery. Mr. Lowe, you have 2 votes to deny. I concur. My vote is denied due to the nature of the offense and the impact of the offense on the victims. So today you have 3 votes to deny. Best wishes to you, sir.
I don't give any best wishes to you, sir. Cockroach. Scum of the earth. Really? The scum of the earth. It's why we call them the cockroach. They crawl around. They blend, they blend in, and you can't kill them. You try to kill them, you try. You can step on them, you can squeeze them out, but they're protected. They're somehow protected by the laws. They're somehow protected by people they shouldn't be protected by, and he's going to be out there. And that's the scariest thing, is that it's just 4 more years and he's going to be out there. Why would a DA take a plea deal and give him 25 years? Why was he not put up against the wall with a life sentence? Something about the laws were changing. They rushed it through. I don't know about that. Please, we've been seeing every type of court. They hand out these little itty bitty sentences. And they got a letter that the DA was opposed. Yeah, there was a letter, thankfully. But where is the DA? Why is this not important for a DA to sit there, if anything, to do what's right, if anything, to send the message, if anything, to be there for the victims, for the survivors? Don't you have pride in what you do to serve and protect? You don't think it would have made a difference for them to feel that there was someone that was going to have their back, to say, no, we oppose? How much time would it have taken out of your day to do that? But they do show up to keep a pot dealer locked up. They do. We see it over and over and over again. Why? Here's the case file. The only reason we have this is because he appealed his sentence. It was decided on December 22nd, 2004 that he was denied. Keep in mind, he took a plea deal and then he appealed the sentence, calling it harsh. He agreed to accept a plea deal. Plea to forcible rape. He would get not less than 5 years, nor more than 40 years, and was sentenced to 25 years. This is something else interesting. He took a plea deal where the maximum could have been 40 years, and they didn't give it to him. Why not? Why not? You could have done it. You could have given him 40 years and you didn't. Explain that to me. The discussion. The matter of record show that during the period of January 2000 to January 2002, then a 35-year-old man, a 35-year-old stepfather, a 35-year-old cockroach, a 35-year-old, literally think of them, he's preying. He targeted a single mom, wooed her, married her to get into their house so that he could prey on her daughters. This was something he planned from the beginning. He hunted it down. He is looking for moms with young children. It's such a sick disease. It's such a sick that there is nothing good in that creature. It wasn't alcohol that got him in. He was having it's a predator. His whole life is devoted around this. It's his one thought. It's his one focus. It's his one obsession. Little girls. Until the people that are meant to protect us can just realize that, they're going to keep giving them these sentences. They're going to keep getting out. He's not going to be able to control himself once he gets out. There's no number of programs that will help him. And he had only that one write-up, because they all do. It falls into that sociopathic nature. Serial killers have no write-ups. Sociopaths, basically, they seem to, especially that it's these child. They just don't. They all check that box. So, he was 35 years old. He's the stepfather of the victim, a child under the age of 12. The defendant lived with his wife and 3 daughters in a trailer. During this period of time, On multiple occasions, defendant made the victim, who was between the ages of 8 and 10, perform fellatio on him. I am reading from this script, word for word. He also performed oral sex on her on a number of occasions. The child's sister eventually told her mother what had occurred. When confronted, the defendant denied the allegations to his wife, but then turned himself into Bossier police and made a full confession to investigators. A sanity commission determined the defendant was competent. I do wonder why he turned himself in. The only thing I can think of is that his wife said she would do it. That's the only thing I can think of, because these sociopaths don't do what's right. He thought he could manipulate his way through it and get some shorter sentence. That's just what I'm convinced of. And it says on some occasions or multiple occasions. They don't put a number here because it's a legal doc, but I can. Defendant argues that because he did not use force or threats, there is no factual basis. This is what he says. No factual basis for the conviction for forcible rape. Can you imagine? He's putting this in a legal argument as to why his 25-year sentence was excessive. And he actually says because there's no factual basis for the conviction of forcible rape. A guilty plea, however, relieves the state of the burden of proving guilt and the defendant's right to question. Dude, it's forcible. She's 8 years old. What are you talking about? It's like crazy that he would even put this in his. He feels it was unfair, so he's saying, hey, look, it wasn't forcible. I didn't like hit her over the head or tie her down. Psychopath. Further facts records show that the defendant committed the offense of aggravated rape for which the state could have sought the death penalty. Defendant agreed in open court that the recited factual basis was correct. This argument is meritless. Equally without merit is the defendant's pre-claim that there was a plea bargain for a 12-year sentence. So he also stated, I had a plea bargain for 12 years. The record contains no evidence of such an agreement. In fact, at his guilty plea, the defendant stated that no one had made any promises or threats to induce his plea. The only indication in the record concerning the alleged agreement was the defendant's self-serving statement that his defense counsel indicated that such a sentence was most likely. So he went and said that he was promised a 12-year sentence, and we're like, no, you weren't promised a 12-year sentence. His attorney said it's most likely. Maybe it was at the time. We've seen 12-year sentences. So, yeah, very possible. A trial court has broad discretion if a sentence with statutory limits. The record shows that the defendant was 36 years old at the time of the sentencing. He had served 10 years in the military until he was given medical discharge and had been gainfully employed since then. He had no prior convictions other than his DWI. The defendant reported that he was sexually abused as a child and claimed to be remorseful for the instant behavior. Claimed that he was sexually abused and was remorseful. Okay, yeah, he's coming up with his excuses. And he's remorseful. Wow, yeah, you're really remorseful. Serious aggravating factors includes the case as the child's stepfather was in position or control over the child. He committed these offenses when the child was alone with him under his supervision. Defendant knew that the child had previously, oh my God, no. The defendant knew that the child had been previously sexually abused, and the defendant committed these offenses on multiple occasions over. You know, the mother living in this trailer park that is just not vetting these men and not protecting her children. Poor girl. The 25-year-old sentence is lawful, considering the defendant's history, the benefit of the plea bargain, and the fact that the circumstances in this case. A conviction nor is shocking in the sense of justice. The assignment of errors with merit conclusion. For the reasons set forth, the defendant's conviction remains affirmed. But gosh, I don't know why they didn't give him the maximum of 40 years. You could have done that. And then where's the DA? What's going to happen when he gets out? What's going to happen when he gets out in 4 years? How many children's lives is he going to have to wreck before he gets caught again? What is it going to take for our system to better protect our children? You know, the DA could have shown up just because it's the right thing to do. With that, I'll let you go.